Here again is Jane Pauley.
Now the Dateline timeline. All the following events happened during the second week of December. Do you know what the year was? Roy Campanella of the Brooklyn Dodgers was named the NL's most valuable player. The Ford Foundation gave away $500 million.
When you see a guy reach for stars in the sky, you can bet that he's doing it for some doll.
Guys and Dolls was the top movie musical.
Now, this song we want you to identify as currently way up on the hit list. You tell us what Jim Peterson is going to play right now.
On TV, Strike It Rich was a hit game show. And Dean Martin had a million seller.
Memories are made of this.
All right, what year was it? 1953, 1954, or 1955? The answer when Dateline continues.
One love through life, man.
So what year was it? Campy was MVP. Guys and Dolls was okay. And Memories Are Made of This was a winner. It all happened the second week of December, 1955.
From our studios in Rockefeller Center, here again is Stone Phillips.
Any fire hazards in your home? There may be one right in your living room, something you use every day that, if misused, could start a deadly fire in a matter of minutes. It's a lamp, an extremely popular one, in tens of millions of homes, and yet few people are aware of just how dangerous it can be. Here's Dawn Fratangelo with a Dateline investigation.
All of a sudden, I felt this big wave of heat, and I saw this, flash.
Fire in a matter of minutes.
I looked up, and I was on the phone, and I go, oh, my gosh, my house is on fire.
As it turns out, started by a product that, if not used properly, can be a deadly hazard. 16-year-old Shannon Carr was lucky. She got out alive. Minutes before a fire swept through her house, causing $150,000 in damage. Her mother, Debbie, remembers the aftermath.
The entire upstairs was gone. All 3 bedrooms, the clothes, furniture, the bathroom, all the pictures. What caused this fire?
The lamp. The light bulb in the lamp.
The lamp is a halogen floor lamp like this. Inside its open top sits a very bright tubular halogen bulb with a thin glass guard over it in case the bulb shatters. Many companies make these bulbs, including General Electric, our parent company. The lamp is one of the most popular in the country. An estimated 30 to 40 million have been sold.
I was sitting right
Shannon
here.
Carr's lamp was in her bedroom, near a window. One afternoon, she was folding laundry while talking on the phone.
I had curtains similar to this, but they were bubble curtains, so they were stuffed with newspapers. My halogen lamp was right here, and my hamper was right here. And I looked up, and my curtains were on fire, and my ceiling right here was starting to melt.
So just in a matter of minutes, while you're sitting here on the floor, your curtains were on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the lamp, according to Shannon, wasn't even touching the curtains. It was placed just below them.
We did not like her story. We felt something was not right here.
Fire investigator Ron Verkosnik of Lombard, Illinois, was skeptical of Shannon's story.
Well, she told us 5 minutes, and we felt 5 minutes seemed unrealistic. So we felt that if we can reenact this somehow, we would do that at the fire station.
They did. This is a tape they made of their reenactment.
We set up the same way, the same dimensions. She said she had it was about 3 to 5 inches from the lamp to the shades, and we set it up that way. We turned the clock on, turned the lamp on.
The clock shows 5 minutes and 15 seconds after investigators turned on the lamp, the curtains caught fire.
Were you surprised at those results?
Yeah, we felt that the lamp could not get that hot that quick to ignite those combustibles, and it did. And it surprised all of us.
The Carr's fire is among 31 fires of this kind. The government's Consumer Product Safety Commission has been able to directly link to halogen floor lamps, like this one in Tempe, Arizona, in which a young woman was injured. And not far from there, a man was killed in another fire caused by a halogen floor lamp. But fire investigators we spoke with suspect many of these kinds of fires go unreported because they're not required to specify in reports what type of lamp or light bulb caused a fire. In fact, a 5-month Dateline investigation turned up more than a dozen fires which were not part of the CPSC's findings. including this one in a Boston suburb, started by a halogen floor lamp in a guest room.
Are these lamps safe?
Not if they're used like any other lamp. They're not going to be safe.
Evanston, Illinois Fire Chief Alan Burkowski has investigated 8 incidents in the past 2 years involving halogen floor lamps. Their design concerns him. The inverted shade of the lamp acts as a catcher's mitt. As this public service announcement shows, flammable items can get trapped in the bowl-like top right next to the bulb or the guard, which can get extraordinarily hot.
They have that surface that just can trap stuff and are high enough to ignite things such as curtains. These lamps have to be treated differently because they burn a lot hotter, and you need to take some precautions when you use them.
We wanted to find out how much hotter. Dateline asked a highly reputable independent testing laboratory, Inchcape Testing Services, to measure the heat of 3 300-watt tubular halogen bulbs. That's the size most commonly used. We also tested the glass guards. Keep in mind, a standard 100-watt light bulb used in many homes can reach 475 degrees. The lab found the guards around the halogen bulbs averaged 611 degrees, and the bulbs themselves almost 1,100 degrees, more than twice as hot as the standard 100-watt bulb. Hot enough to start the fire in the car's home. Their lamp was equipped with a 300-watt halogen bulb and should have carried a warning like this, which says to keep it away from combustibles. But if it did, Debbie Carr says she didn't notice it.
A warning should be made where a person knows that anything near, even close to the lamp is at risk.
These warning labels vary. Sometimes they're the size of a Band-Aid, placed inside the dome of the lamp or wrapped around the electrical cord. But rarely is the label placed on the outside surface of the lamp, large enough so a consumer can't miss it and has to remove it before assembling the lamp.
Some of the lamps had the warnings in the hoods, so after you assemble a lamp, you never saw the warning again, or on the tag or the plug itself.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission is directed by Congress to protect consumers from dangerous products. The agency began an investigation into halogen floor lamps only last year, even though documents obtained by Dateline show it had reports of fires involving these lamps as far back as 1991. The agency turned down our request for an interview, saying its investigation is continuing. In fact, while it has the authority to investigate, the CPSC doesn't set the safety standard for halogen floor lamps. Instead, this industry-funded group, Underwriters Laboratories, sets the voluntary standard for the lamps. You've probably seen the UL label on a number of products.
Did you put the UL label on a safe product when you placed it on the 30 million halogen floor lamps that are out there?
If there is a UL label on a quartz halogen lamp, it meets all of the safety requirements in the standard and has passed every test that is applicable to that lamp.
John Dregenberg is an assistant vice president at UL.
Did you throw toys in the dome of this lamp? Did you throw draperies in the dome of this lamp? These are real-life scenarios.
The accident data available to us at the time that the standard was written did not indicate that there was a problem of this type.
But after a series of reported fires, UL decided to do something about halogen floor lamps. First, a warning to manufacturers to stop selling the floor lamps with 500-watt halogen bulbs.
We had recommended going to 300 watts because it gave off less heat.
Next, media advisories were issued, warning consumers about the lamp's hazards. Never place them in children's rooms, near bunk beds, or near an open window where wind could blow draperies over the bulb. Dateline checked with a number of newspapers. Virtually none reported the advisories. But now, UL is making bigger changes. Come February, it will require halogen floor lamps to go through a much tougher safety test in order to carry the coveted UL label. We wondered if the UL-approved lamps on the market today could meet the new tougher test. Remember, there are 30 to 40 million of these lamps in use. So we asked the independent lab to test 3 popular lamps from different manufacturers using the new UL requirement. Here's how the test works. The lamp is turned on. After 15 minutes, a double layer of cheesecloth, which UL considers a highly flammable material, is draped over the top of the lamp. According to the requirements, if nothing happens to the cheesecloth for 7 hours, the lamp passes the test. Watch what happens with lamp 1.
But it smells like something's burning.
It smells, yes.
After 34 seconds,
We have ignition.
the cheesecloth went up in flames. Bear in mind, this lamp is being sold now and carries the UL label. On lamp 2, holes were burned through the cheesecloth in 16 minutes. And the cheesecloth over lamp 3, again, another UL-approved model that's still on the market, ignited in the shortest amount of time, a mere 25 seconds.
The 3 lamps that we tested here with the new requirement, what happened?
They all failed to comply.
They failed. And that means a halogen floor lamp you already own could do the same thing and may be hazardous if you're not very careful with it. What's more, the new test applies only to lamps manufactured after next February. So before you buy a halogen floor lamp, check with a salesperson to see if it's passed the new test. Otherwise, you might buy a lamp as dangerous as the ones you've just seen.
If they can't be recalled and repaired, then they should be replaced by who's ever manufacturing them.
We asked the distributors of the lamps we tested to comment on the results. There was no mention in any of their letters to us about replacing their lamps already sold. In fact, all 3 say their lamps do meet the current UL standard. But one admitted no current halogen floor lamp could pass the new test. That means in order for these lamps to pass that test, they'll likely have to be redesigned. Even so, the government, which has the authority to recall dangerous products, says there are no current plans to recall the millions of halogen floor lamps out there.
What would you tell people who are considering buying a lamp like this?
Honestly, I'd tell them not to.
Kmart and Cheyenne Industries, 2 of the distributors whose lamps were tested for our report, recently redesigned their products to meet the new UL standard. And just one other note, just yesterday, the Consumer Product Safety Commission and the Tenzer Corporation announced a voluntary recall of 500-watt halogen bulbs, which had been included in some Tenzer lamps. There were reports of the bulbs shattering, causing injuries and fires. If you'd like more information about halogen lamp safety, visit our website at www.dateline.msnbc.com.
Coming up next, a Christmas tree for millionaires. Dateline's Picture of the Week. Dateline will continue after this message from your local station.
And now a program note. Coming up tomorrow on Today, as the defense pushes its attack on the LAPD, the latest from the O.J. Simpson civil trial. Also a look at the oceanfront farm where JFK and Jackie got married. It's for sale. And Martha Stewart with some Christmas treats. All that and more tomorrow on Today.
Now let's take a look at what's coming up on Dateline Friday.
They were a world away from home, and the unthinkable happened.
I just stood there and I thought, oh my God, the ship's sinking.
A ferry packed with hundreds of terrified people. How did these 3 get out alive?
I knew I could swim. That was really the least of my worries. I knew.
3 Dateline survivors you'll never forget.
It was like there was some sort of struggle going on. Somebody wanted to try and kill us and somebody wanted to save us.
The story on Dateline Friday.
Finally tonight, trimming the tree in timely fashion. From Geneva, Switzerland, we call our Picture of the Week a tree to watch. As far as New Yorkers are concerned, of course, the tree here at Rockefeller Center is a real gem. But in downtown Geneva, a more literal view on how to bejewel a tree. Each bough is adorned with a bank branch worth of diamond, ruby, and emerald jeweled watches, attracting more armed guards than Santa's. Swiss watchmaker Piaget decorated the tree in an attempt to make it the most expensive in the world. But with roughly $7.5 million in trimmings, just what do you put under a tree like that? That's all for this edition of Dateline. Join us for Dateline Friday at 9, 8 Central. Now stay tuned for your local news. I'm Jane Pauley. For all of us at NBC News, good night.
Stand by Leno.
Change.
Stand by the NI.
Change.
Ready to announce.
Change.
Roll Leno. Push. Announce.
In 35 minutes, Jay rolls out the royal red carpet when he welcomes Sarah, the Duchess of York. Stay up for Jay. Local news is next.
Lose it.
7, 6.
Roll the NI.
Nice work, everybody. We'll see you back here Friday night at 9.
1.
The world is now watching America's most watched news magazine, Dateline. NBC News, now more than ever.